Looks like we are good to go.
Welcome, my lords, to the Well-Earned Comforts Podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Seth.
Thank you for joining us on the Walls of Isengard as we explore the many works of Tolkien and, of course, discuss life. We're glad to have you as part of the fellowship, as there's no telling where it'll be swept off to. And for some of you guys, you probably thinking like, man, did these guys die?
Really got
what
swept
happened to
away.
them? They're gone. They got swept far, far away. And you're not completely wrong. It has been, I think, since May since we posted anything. But we are alive, we are well, our families are well and growing. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But as always, I'm going to check in with Mr. Oodalali himself. I love the shirt. That's freaking epic. My brother Seth across the way there in Michigan. How's it going? Tell me about the shirt, man. Where'd you get that? That's awesome.
Yeah, Amanda bought me a Robin Hood shirt way back in the day, and I wore it so much that every time we washed it, now it's just a black t-shirt. It just completely rubbed off. And This is one of those songs that, Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest. I sing that to Abby and Ben, multiple times a day. Robin Hood's one of my absolute favorites, and so she just decided, she found it on Amazon, decided to buy it. So I thought it was kind of just a fun shirt. I don't know how well you can see it, but I love it.
That's perfect. Yeah, you got to bring that word back. I mean, I'm going to start using it in everyday context.
You got to start throwing it into your sermons. And Jesus saved Oodalali, and like give a good clap or something. Just
it'll catch on.
Yeah, we could try. I don't know if it will, but we can definitely try. Yeah, it's been a long time since we podcasted, and as always, a lot of that is my fault. Life's been quite busy, as I'm sure you guys are all sick of hearing me talk about and babble on about. I've been finishing up my master's degree, so I actually did just graduate, I think. I don't really know when I technically graduate. I finished all my classes, got all my final grades, so whenever I get the diploma in the mail, I guess I graduate. I'm not going to do any kind of graduation ceremony or anything. That just seems like a waste of time. But yeah, finally got that out of the way. And then I recently decided that I was going to take my boards. So I took a predictor exam on Monday. So just 3 days ago, and discovered that I'm in a good position to pass. So I took that exam and I went, okay, I'm just going to schedule it. I don't want to have to stress myself out by waiting and over studying. It says I'm in a good position to pass. I feel like I could probably pass my board. So I scheduled those out for about a week from, I think it's a week from today. So a lot of big things moving. Also had a job interview for an MP position on Monday. Kind of confusing overall, because they interviewed me for a position that doesn't exist because the ICU physician wanted them to interview me for a position that doesn't exist, but they're trying to create positions and want me to fill that position when they create it's complicated, but it sounds like
you're a hot commodity is what I'm hearing.
Not necessarily, because I haven't applied to any other job. I was kind of starting to freak out a little bit, like, oh, I've graduated, like I'm going to pass my boards and I don't even have a job lined up. So things seem like they're moving in the right direction from that regard. But otherwise, Amanda is absolutely stellar, just raising the kids and taking the brunt of me studying and being gone. And she made the joke. She was like, yeah, you kept saying we're pregnant. Maybe I should start saying we graduated. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. Like, sure. Yeah, we graduated. I'm not going to deny that at all. So kids are good. Unfortunately, Ben still, we just had his allergy appointment today, and he is still likely anaphylactic to both eggs, if they're cooked over the stove, and dairy. So got to keep carrying around that EpiPen for him for another year, and hopefully it's something he grows out of, but we'll see. But yeah, that's enough babbling for me. There's just been so much happening in life lately that it's hard to summarize without just ranting on and on. But it sounds like you guys have been going through it with many things that I don't want to spoil for you, but it sounds like ever since our cousin Daniel's wedding, you guys have been going through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not been that terrible. It's one of those things it's just a inconvenience after inconvenience. But yes, shout out to our cousin Daniel Linville, who just got married. Him and Macy had a beautiful wedding in Idaho, Priest Lake. Bear got to be a ring bear for that.
Ah,
He carried down a little fishing pole with a ring pop on the end of it down
I
the aisle.
love it.
It was
Bear
really cute.
squared with a
Yeah,
ring pop.
Bear. That's right. Yep. And so that was a good trip. It was actually a lot, went better than I expected it to. But kids got sick on that trip. Then kids got sick when we got back from the trip. Then kids got sick after that. Then I got sick, and then Ariel got sick, and then kids got sick again. So what I'm telling myself and what I believe, I'm trying to um, just have a positive thought processes on all this is that we'll be very immune come sixth season in the wintertime for the birth of our third boy, which we've not announced on the podcast yet, but Ariel is indeed 18 weeks pregnant. That's how long it's been since we podcasted. I think
Jeez.
we knew before, like our last one, but you wait a little
Yeah,
bit to
we
share
we
it and
talked
stuff.
about
But
it, but yeah, you didn't want to share that quite
yeah,
yet.
yeah. We're obviously, we're thinking about names and stuff. We were thinking, well, should we change it up? And it's like, nah, you can't have a Baron and an LSR and then a Peter or something like that. So we decided that Theoden is the way to go. Theoden Calvary will be the name. We'll call him Theo for short. But Theo is it means gift from God,
Hmm.
which is really cool. And obviously Theoden Tolkien, it pretty much just means like king of horses kind of thing. So
And you're in
that's
Kentucky,
pretty
so
sweet.
that works out perfectly.
It works out perfectly. Yeah. And then obviously Calvary is a double meaning there, because Theoden brings the Calvary, but more importantly, Mount Calvary, where Jesus died on the cross, is the connection there for the other side of things. But Ariel's doing well. Pregnancy wise, she's had a very intense sinus migraine headache the last few days. But other than that, like baby is doing well and healthy and all the things. So we're very excited. Have a third boy in the house. It's already pretty wild and crazy. Bear is he's just so full of energy and he's been riding his little what do they call it? Like I guess little walker bike or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah. The Strider one.
stand up bike.
Yeah.
Stride, yeah, yeah. He loves that. We were just on a walk before bedtime, and there was this older kid on an actual bike. He's probably like 9 or 10, and Barrett like just zoomed to try to catch up with him and followed this kid everywhere on the sidewalk. And the kid kept like looking back at him, and then he kind of like smiled at him, and it was cute. Like Bear he just wanted to be like this kid. And,
That's
so
wholesome.
so that's fun. Yeah, yeah, it's super wholesome. Ellis is he's just a fun little chunk. He's starting to talk a few little words, mama, dad, dad. He loves pancakes. You know, he's got a cute little laugh and everything. He says up, says hi, and what? Oh, Ariel's in the other room. He says popcorn. He says papa.
Of
He
course.
loves our ear popped popcorn that we make. We have one that like mom and dad had growing up,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
So
we do
I
that
I gotta
occasionally.
ask I gotta ask you. One of my favorite things now that Benjamin is getting old enough to like have a personality, he's not just a lump that gets, dragged around. He has
Yeah.
desires and wishes and interests and he communicates and it's something I've absolutely loved that I kind of figured I would enjoy, but I didn't really understand was watching Evelyn fall in love with Benjamin and vice versa. And
Mm,
Evelyn is just such a sweet big sister. I mean, yeah, they're siblings, but you'll just
yeah.
come around the corner. You're like, I don't hear Ben, but I hear Evelyn. And you'll come around the corner and he's watching her and she's making up a story as she flips through the pages trying to read to him. Or like they're
Yeah.
playing and she's sharing and talking and she's always looking after him. Sometimes a little bit of a tattletale, but it's a beautiful thing to watch them build that relationship together. Have Bear and Ellis been able to start doing that? I mean, I'm sure it's different with two boys. They're probably just like rumbling and
Very
tumbling,
different.
but
Yes, we've seen. There's the glimpses that we get of that are beautiful. Bear will try to teach Ellis certain things, and he'll hold his hand and like help him, across the room sometimes if he's trying to tell him like, "Hey, let's go over here" or something. But more often than not, it's we're fighting, we're smacking each other in the face, we're biting, we're kicking, we're screaming. It's
but
it's
that's
it's really just
also them
boys.
learning how
Uh,
to, in a
yeah,
roundabout way fall in love. I mean, we wrestled and
yeah.
fought all the time growing
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
just
And
what
it's
we
it's
did.
obvious like they desire that too. Like we just
Exactly.
try to keep telling him like, hey, give each other space, and they won't. They'll sit on top of each other, and then of course they get mad at each other. It's like,
Oh yeah.
Bear will like walk up to him and just like his thing is he tries to like we have like those little beanbag chairs, like the Big Joe or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll take it, throw it on top of Ellis, and then lay on top of it and smush him. And we're like, dude, stop. But I mean, they enjoy it, and Ellis he fights back. But it was funny. So while we were in Idaho, the Airbnb we had didn't have a pack and play, and so there was a trundle bed, and so Bear had like a normal kid bed, and then right below him was Ellis in a trundle bed, and we are like, well, that's probably safe enough. But we shut the door, and then we were sleeping in a different room, and I wake up at like it's like maybe 5:30 in the morning. I hear voices outside the door, and so I like freak out, step up, and we're on the second level. There's like a flight of stairs right outside our doors.
Sure.
And so I like open the door and I look out, and then they're just standing together talking about like how to. It seemed like they were trying to figure out like how do I get down the stairs, and Bear was like trying to like help Ellis because they were trying to find us. And so that was really cute. Like,
that's awesome.
First thing in the morning, I guess they woke up together and came out the door together. Bear opened the door, obviously, and they're trying to figure out what to do. So that
is so
that was
stinking cute.
A little alarming, but very cute. Yeah.
But at the same time, how cool is that? Like they're scheming together, and Bear's looking after him and making sure he's not falling down this. I mean, Ellis probably would have just like, oh, here we go, but
right, yeah.
But it's cool that Bear was there. That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
It is a lot of fun. We're excited to see what a third one does. Bear's very excited. Ellis doesn't seem to really understand. Obviously, he's 18 months, but Bear's actually excited. Like, that's fun to see that he's looking forward to it. So, yeah, it'll be a good time. That's probably plenty of babbling. But
props to you guys. Props to Ariel. Pregnancy is not an easy thing to go through, especially with, like you said, two little boys that are beating the crap out of each other all the time while you're at work.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's a full-time job being a stay-at-home mom, and I don't know that a lot of mothers get the right amount of respect for that. So,
no, I completely agree. She's certainly doing more work than I am, and it's fun when I get to come home and take some relief from her. I mean, obviously, I'm tired from work or whatever, but I get home, I just kind of get energized by the kids oftentimes and just start messing around and playing with them.
You get that second wind when you get home and they're like, oh, it's go time.
Yeah. And Bear immediately says, Daddy, let's wrestle. I'm like, okay, bring it on. I always win, but
well, of course. For now.
Any hoozle. Well, should we do a little riddles in the dark? I've actually been thinking about this for the last couple of days. I've got a good character that is kind of like in the mid-range. Like it's nothing too crazy, but it is out there that I don't know if you'd get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I haven't thought about this at all. So let me think of one real quick.
I was just driving to work and I was thinking about, I was like, what's a good character to stump Seth with? And I actually thought of a couple different ones that'll be really hard. And I won't give them away because they might even point you towards the one I ended up choosing.
All right. But fair enough. I've got one, so we can go either way. Do you want me to guess first?
Yeah, why don't you guess first?
All right, so I'll hit the timer. Again, the rules of this is each patient, holy crap, my brain is still in like studying mode. Each person here, we're persons, not patients.
I'm being very patient with you right now, but
fair enough. Touche. We get 1 minute to ask yes or no questions. At the end of 1 minute, we get 3 guesses. Let's give us 3. We get 3 guesses to guess the character. So that's kind of the rundown of it. I'll start a timer. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. If not, you can keep track of the time on your own at home. So ready? Here we go. Is this a character in the first age?
No.
Only in the second age?
No.
Only in the third age?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a man?
No.
Is it an elf?
No.
Is it some kind of creature? Is it not like a main?
I mean, it is, but it's
elf?
not.
Okay, it's not a man, it's not an elf. Is it a dwarf? Is it an Istari?
No.
Okay, so is it some kind of obscure creature?
No.
Okay, is it an eagle?
No. Oh my gosh. No.
It's
This
got to
is so
be
funny.
something. This is why this game's not fun to play with you anymore. Because you pick something
This
that
is
I
so
can't even.
easy.
It's not though. Is it an orc? Is it
No,
a
God,
Nazgul?
Seth, come on.
What else am
Oh
I
my
supposed to
gosh,
guess?
Seth.
Is it the Dark
This
Lord?
is so
Like,
funny. No,
what else am I supposed to
this is
guess?
hilarious.
Is it a Hobbit?
Yes.
Oh shoot. Time's up. All right. Well, that sucks.
Yep, well done. Now, out of all the
Okay.
hobbits in the entire Legendarium,
So I
you
get 3 guesses.
3 guesses.
Is it Farmer Maggot?
No.
Okay.
No, he's the goat.
He is the goat. I'd love to have just a little bit more context. Is it?
You wasted that on guessing orcs and Nazguls and eagles before hobbits. Who does that?
I forgot about hobbits for a minute there, believe it or not.
Well, so did Sauron.
Literally a minute.
That'd be your downfall too.
Yes, indeed. All right, I have 2 more guesses. It's an obscure one. It's not going to be a normal one. Oh shoot! Is it the Gaffer?
I mean, it's no.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. It is a relative of a main character.
Belladonna Took.
No. Lobelia Sackville Baggins. She stole the spoons.
She did steal the spoons. Dang. Okay. All right. Well played.
I think that's one of those that you could have gotten had you
I would have been able
elf,
to deduce
dwarf.
that. Yeah.
What is it? Is it a creature?
Well, because I was like, he's picking the Watcher in the water. That's literally where my brain went. Like, he's picking the Watcher in the water.
Right.
That's what I was like. Is it a creature? Is it one of the nameless things? Like, where are we going with this? And of course, it's something stupid. All right. On your mark, get set, go.
Is this a man?
No.
Elf?
No.
Dwarf?
No.
Well, I know it's not a hobbit because that wasn't on your brain. Not a hobbit, I assume. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, it is a hobbit. Oh, that's even funnier.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to admit that.
So third age.
Clearly. Unless you're in Rings of Power.
Is this of the Took family?
No.
Is it of the Baggins family?
No.
Is it of the Gamgee family?
No.
The Cotton family?
No.
Is it Fatty Bulger?
No.
Does this character have any dialogue outside of the first book?
No. I don't know that there's any direct dialogue. All right.
So then...
We're literally 20 minutes into the podcast and we haven't even started.
Yeah, this is bad.
Great podcasting.
Yep, you guys are loving
Go
this.
ahead, 3 guesses. What you got?
So, all right, well, I will go with Mary to start, since...
No.
Okay, well, I didn't say Brittany Book. What about not Fatty Bulger, the other one? What is his name? I forget. Ted Sandyman?
Nope.
No. Is it Mayor Hob Whitfoot?
No. It is not.
Darn. Shout out concerning hobbits.
Correct. It is Deagle.
Deagle? Well, he's a river folk. He's not necessarily
a steward,
hobbit, right?
Isn't he a steward?
Is that what they decided?
I think he's supposed to be. Maybe I should Google that. He is a hobbit, though.
Okay.
Deagle
Fair enough. I was thinking about that, but I was like, I don't know if it's explicitly said. All I remember Gandalf is saying he's one of the river folk.
Yeah, because they started on the banks of the Anduin and then they migrated west.
Sure. Well,
come on. All right, we're moving on. We got to stay on track here. Moving into some Tidings of the Fellowship. Sam, I don't know if you have any. I didn't even look. First of all, real quick, there was like one random day how many downloads did we get?
2. We had 2 random days. There's like over 600 downloads between the 2 of them.
Yeah, it was wild. Like, we just have never had that. So I don't know if somebody shouted us out on a podcast that we weren't aware of, or if maybe the algorithm just hit randomly because we didn't produce a new episode.
No,
So
no, it's completely
welcome
random.
new listeners. Hopefully you
But yeah,
enjoyed those. Thank you. Feel free to reach
yes,
out to
seriously.
us with your Tolkien story or tell us, your thoughts on the topic at hand or anything Tolkien related. We'll read them on air. But yeah, I just was curious about that if you had any insight, but it's random, but hey, we'll take it.
No, that it was cool.
We're closing in on 10,000 downloads. I think we only have a few hundred
That's
more to
pretty
go,
sweet.
which is pretty sweet. I mean, I know we've been
Yeah,
at this for a while and 10,000 is not much when you think about how many episodes we put out and yada, yada, yada. But hey, 10,000 is still pretty sweet. So, yeah.
yeah.
My one pseudo tidings of the fellowship is actually a shout out to my neighbor Rusty, who I spoke to this evening briefly. Turns out that he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Horrible neighboring, but we've been, living here for like 5 years, and he just added me on Facebook, and we've chatted, on and off, but he seems like a really awesome guy. But he added me on Facebook and was like, hey, now we have to really be friends because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd too. I was like, oh, are you? And he goes, oh yeah, I've got my flag of Gondor hanging up from a trivia night that
Yes,
I destroyed. I was like, yeah,
love
you're
that.
lucky I wasn't there. But hey, congrats. But that's awesome. He invited us over to play some games and get to know them. And it's also his
Cool.
son's first birthday today. So happy birthday to his son.
Hey,
But yeah, shout out to Rusty. It'll be fun to just kind of get to know him more and talk Tolkien with him.
yeah, that's awesome. I love when they get to have those little interactions with people. It's like, you too, me too.
It's great. It's great.
Especially when they go deeper than just like the movies, and people are like,
Yes.
oh no, I actually like, yeah, I've read the books or the Silmarillion. Like you start, yeah, having those kind of.
He said that he and his wife, when they were on their honeymoon, went out to Ireland, and I forget exactly where he said they were, but he was at a bookstore and he said that he saw a first edition signed copy from Tolkien himself, and he's like, it was selling for like 17,000, so there's no way he could buy it. But
Yeah,
to be able to see that in person must have just been like absolutely insane.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
So yeah.
That's
Anyways,
really cool.
just thought I'd throw that out there. Shout out to Rusty.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, I don't think we have any other tidings of the Fellowship. I mean, Scott Marion mentioned he just texted me randomly about a Lord of the Rings chess set that he played with a friend, and so that's kind of
Nice.
neat. He said that he's like, so how many times? Because he went to this guy's house. He goes, so how many times does the term "you shall not pass" come up when you're playing? And he's like, oh, billions. So
Nonstop.
just a fun little thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then of course all the Linvilles, getting to hang out with them at Priest Lake was a lot of fun. So shout out to Caleb, Luke, Daniel, and all of the extras that they keep adding on. So
Yes, they do.
we'll jump into, and Uncle Curtis. I was on his podcast too. I think in between the last episode, so maybe that was where it was from. I don't know, but
Maybe
I was on his
I
Adventure Sports
watched that.
podcast.
That was actually a really awesome podcast that you guys put out. I was able to watch it on 2 times speed while, commuting, and I thought it was awesome. So shout out Uncle Curtis, and that was a great interview.
Yeah.
You did great.
Well, thank you very much. He's really good at interviewing, and I mean it's his adventure sports podcast. So if you're into any kind of extreme
There's some
adventure sports,
crazy
they've got.
stories that I knew, like
Oh
I knew
man,
the surface level of those stories that you had told me about, but it's like, man, I really missed out
yeah,
on some fun stuff. Just, being
you
older
did, yeah,
and, a teenager and interested in different things at the time. But
yeah, for sure. No, it was a lot of fun, and I mean, there's so many different cool stories that they have on their podcast too. A lot of like crazy, just insane human things, like how can the human body do this kind of thing.
yeah,
So
yeah, for
pretty
sure.
cool stuff. But today we thought we'd try to keep it simple, keep it short, which obviously we're not doing a good job of. But we wanted to talk about just the new adaptations in Middle Earth that are arising and seem to be kind of clashing a little bit. There's the Rings of Power is still holding on somehow, some way.
It's a tax write-off.
Posted.
That's how.
Yep. They've spent billions of dollars on this thing, and they're trying to figure out a way to, see it through. Which, hey, props to them, power to them. And it seems like, just from conversations that we'll get into here in a little bit, maybe that they are finally trying to take this a little bit seriously in the sense of making it at least more entertaining. Not necessarily any more lore driven, but just a kind of a quick overview of what season 3 should look like.
Entertaining. At the baseline, it needs to be entertaining, and it wasn't
at baseline. No, first two seasons were.
Sam,
I mean, we
Sam,
were
what?
just talking offline. Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go no, no, go ahead.
I was just saying we were talking offline beforehand. We were trying to remember certain things, and I mean, I haven't rewatched anything. I
Oh,
don't think you have either. So it's like I don't even remember what's happening, and I'm not going to rewatch anything before the third season comes out. I'll probably watch it just for the sake to
oh
see,
yeah.
hey, is this entertaining? Um, so some of the things that we're going to get into, it's like I don't even remember if this was in there before or not, but it is what
So
it is.
a real quick thought, the release schedule is different this time. So I think last time they did like episodes 1 and 2 and then it was a week after. I think that's what it was, but I don't remember exactly. But this time around, so they're lumping everything. So the
Hmm.
first it's basically all done in November, like a 2 week span, you're going to get the 8 episodes. But they're releasing episodes 1 through 4 on one day. And what that tells
That's
me,
wild.
if you look at the data, people are like, "Oh, it's the most Amazon watched show on Amazon ever. Ah, it's amazing." And it's like you look at the data, and the person that watched the first to the person that watched the last episode was like
Drastic drop off.
30%. So only like
Yeah.
30% of the people actually finished the season. And then there was a huge drop off from season 1 to season 2. So it's like, yeah, it might be the most watched, but it's still just the data is not good.
Right.
So what this tells me is when you're releasing episodes 1 through 4 all at one time, you're hoping that like those memory boxes that they do and like the little hooks,
Hmm.
you're hoping that those hooks, people are like, well,
People just hit the next
yeah, I'll
one
just
or
hit
let it
next. Yeah,
autoplay.
exactly. And if it
Hmm.
auto plays, that counts as a view, even if people aren't even really paying
Yeah, if you
attention,
fall
right?
asleep in it.
Exactly. So that's my speculation is they're trying to make their numbers look better by manipulating their release schedule. I don't know
Mm,
what you think.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, what's the point of changing it up? If you really thought, like, if you really had the confidence in your show, you would only do a one or maybe two episode release at a time.
Yeah.
A really great show that I think you would enjoy. It's called Rooster on HBO Max. It's with Steve Carell in it. It's kind of like a rom com thing,
Hmm.
um, but they Ariel and I like we were hooked every single they said it was one episode every Sunday night, and so we were hooked every Sunday night. We waited for the next one to come out, and
Sure.
we were super excited for it because it was like it had us drawn in, and it's of course not an epic fantasy of any kind, so you'd think it'd be even easier to like forget about it, but it was done so well and it was so entertaining, and we were like, oh, we want to keep watching this. And so if you have spent millions of dollars on one of the largest, if not the largest IP, in the universe, in the history of fantasy, and you have this little confidence that people won't be like chomping at the bit to see the next episode, I mean that's a big problem. For real. Like that shows me that you do not have any confidence in this, and exactly what you said. Like we just need to get those auto plays that people will just keep rolling through. If they fell asleep, great. That's
Yep.
even better because then they'll see
Exactly.
all four at once. Um, and so, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Other than that, we could be completely wrong. I don't think we are, but I don't appreciate that this is coming out the day after my birthday. Not a really great birthday present, but
Touche. Well,
yeah. So,
before you really get into this, I was thinking maybe I'd just play the trailer, kind of skip through it, kind of look at the
oh yeah, yeah,
highlights
yeah.
of it. So let me flip over to the trailer real quick. I gotta share my screen. I gotta flip this here, and I need to share my screen with you, Sam, so you can kind of see what
While
I
you're
am.
while you're getting that going, I'll just be the first to say, like, we're by talking about this, we're not like hoping to, you get any extra viewership because of the trend of like, oh, like this stuff is happening. Like, we're interested in talking about it, but we're very far behind on the ball on this. Like, this
Oh
trailer's been
yeah,
out for a
this
little
this has
while.
been out
We're
for a
not
while.
by any means the first ones to react to this, and honestly, I haven't really watched any other reactions to it or anything. I think I've seen it once, and so I'm interested to see this trailer again. But I really don't have any other. There's probably a bunch of other people who have already made content on this. I genuinely have not listened to or watched any other content of other people. So
I
all my
haven't either.
reactions will be genuine. I don't know
Yeah,
about Seth. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Like I'm not just going to be copying other people, but if it's consistent with other people, then that says something.
I
Um,
watched the
but
trailer and I've seen people post on X and stuff, but so kind of starting off, you see Sauron, you see Mount Doom, you see what looks like he's trying to forge the One Ring, right?
The Dark Lord is on the brink of
yeah,
crafting a new
And it
power.
sounds like who's talking is this
One ring.
that yeah, this guy right here.
the orc guy. Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly there's this orc that's like trying to be friends with Galadriel and he's kind of a good guy slash bad guy. They're not sure. Like, that's not Tolkien. That's not Tolkien at all. It's not.
So, caveat, not you're right. It's not Tolkien at all. I think what they're trying to do, and I don't know if you, again, I don't think you ever played this game, but Shadow of Mordor, there's part of the storyline where you do team up with an orc to pretty much help him become a chieftain for you, as kind of like he's basically like just a mole.
Hmm.
He's a coward. He's a small orc. He can't really beat anybody in combat, so he kind of uses you as a bully to help him get to a place of status, and then he helps you out a little bit. It's certainly not like, oh, this is a good person by any means. In fact, he backstabs people. He murders a couple different of his orc buddies to just get to the place he needs to be. Because in the game, like if you kill a chieftain as an orc, like you become that person. They fight each other all the time in the game. Like, and you're as Talion, you're trying to go in and disrupt that and make sure the right people don't get in power, because some are more powerful than others. And so this guy's obviously not very powerful at all. So getting him into a place of power is actually really helpful for you. All that to say, I wonder if that's kind of like, oh, we saw this in the video game. People really liked it. Let's try it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. And then so there's Fell Beast. You've got these, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but they're called Nazgul. So basically they're Nazgul, but they're not wraiths yet. So they're like ring servants or slaves, as opposed to like ring wraiths.
Got it.
Maybe one of the blue wizards, again, that weird elf that nobody likes. I don't even remember his name. Yeah.
Death might well be the price.
Fell Beast looks pretty cool.
Fell Beast does look cool. Oh, okay. I gotta back this up. I was skipping forward a little bit. So here's Celeborn. He lives, all right? He lives. Homeboy Celeborn lives. And let me see. Can we back up? Let's look at this facial. There it is. This facial expression. Let me tell you what this facial expression is. This is guilt.
Oh.
This is guilt. This is, oh, I forgot you existed. My husband, oh my goodness, I forgot you existed. She's like, oh, look at me, trying to get in with the Dark Lord. Oh no, I was duped by him, but I still kind of love him. Oh, and by the way, honey, this might be a bad time to tell you, but I made out with our son-in-law. But hi, happy to see you after a few centuries or however long it's supposed to be.
Yeah, this is so funny that they're adding him in now.
What are we doing? One of the showrunners, I heard, apparently they're going to have, a love triangle between the three of them. I mean, come on.
Ugh.
That's just not Galadriel. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that shot right there? You've got a mate. A Mumakil. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
This shot here, you've got a made-up elf. I'm going to just say it again. Another made-up elf. And then you've got a made-up orc that's supposedly all in cahoots.
I really hate when shows that are trying to adapt make the main storyline based off of their own characters. Because again, that goes back to what they said in the very beginning. We're trying to write the story Tolkien never wrote. It's like, well, but then why? Why spend all this money on the IP? Like, well, because you just want to be able to say this is Lord of the Rings, and it's not.
Correct.
Because you're not using any of the characters.
Correct.
And the one that you did, you completely screwed up.
Yes, very much so. That's a great point. Okay, so their armor looks a little bit better than Númenóreans.
It's a bit
There's Sauron. Yeah. Oh, Galadriel's making out with her husband. Was that Círdan?
Epic making.
I will say,
maybe I don't remember him.
I will say the Nazgul actually they're kind of sick. I don't mind the way they look.
It's hard to mess up a Nazgul. Yeah,
Nazgul go hard all the time. Like they just go hard. Nazgul are awesome. Oh, is that Feanor's hammer? Do you remember that storyline from Celeborn?
Yeah.
Or not Celeborn.
Passed it down Celebrimbor.
Yeah, Celebrimbor.
So we have the One Ring is made. So we're fast forwarding a decent amount here, I suppose.
And that's pretty much what we've got for the trailer. So I don't know, Sam. Immediate thoughts. I know I skipped through a lot of it. You've seen it a couple of times, I'm sure.
Yeah. Again, what I said about obviously they're not sticking to lore. It might be a little bit easier just with the forging of the ring and having the Nazgul and like having some more characters to use,
like through storylines that aren't just jumping all over the place. Yeah,
exactly. And so I'm hopeful for that. And I think it looks cool. Like I will say, like this looks, I don't know, just the cinematography, the special effects, um, it looks really cool. And so that could mean it could be really entertaining. I'm always down to watch a Mumakil or a Balrog. Even if it doesn't make sense, I'll probably watch it with kind of a little bit of animosity. But at the same time, like if it's entertaining, if it's a cool fight scene, battle scenes, like stuff like that, I'd be very interested in it. I think there was like the Watcher in the Water in the last season, and it was just like so out of place and so weird, and it was like, what's going on here? Why are we doing that? When Isildur, which I didn't even, was he even in that? I didn't even see if he was.
Oh no, it was one of the
in that
nameless
shot at
things.
all.
I don't think it was technically the Watcher.
Oh,
I think it was
okay.
just
Right. It
either
wasn't.
way.
Yeah, it wasn't the same one, but very similar. Just kind of like a nod to it, but weird
Right.
placement. So I'm hoping again, like I said, hoping it's more entertaining. I don't like the storyline with an orc, with Galadriel. Again, it could be the thing that I mentioned with Shadow of Mordor, but even that, again, it's not canon. Tolkien would not have cared for that. It's entertaining as a game because you can manipulate orcs and backstab and just
Sure.
you play you're kind of god in the game, and so but yeah, again with Arondir too, it's like okay, we get it. He's your token elf, like he's kind of your Legolas character that you've had to bring along this whole time, and he has to play an integral part. But at the same time, he never existed, so you have to keep
and he
using.
never really did anything in the first 2 seasons, anyways. Like,
yeah. I mean, he fought battles, but he doesn't really have any sort of his own personality or storyline or anything, and so.
I saw this.
Yeah. Well,
I saw this little clip of an interview with Orlando Bloom recently, and somebody interviewing him was like, "How many lines did you have during the Fellowship of the Ring?" And she gave him like 3 or 4 options, and he guessed too high, and she was like, "Nope, you had 17 lines in the whole movie." And he was just like, "What? I only had 17 lines?" But think about it. That was Legolas. People fell in love with Legolas immediately. And all he had was 17 lines in like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
Arondir is kind of just non-entity.
Right, because again, he's not, if you've read the books, like Legolas has so much more depth. And if you've read the books, Galadriel has so much more depth.
Yeah.
There's nothing to reference Arondir with. And so you're just like, okay, all right. But
so let me read a quote.
What stood out to you?
Yeah, let me read a quote just to kind of really start this off. So this is a quote from McKay. I forget his first name. Is it Patrick or Peter or something like that? He's one of the showrunners. Honestly, I don't know. It's something like that. But he is one of the showrunners, and I saw this quote on X, and I was just laughing so hard because we love the idea that even if you've maybe never seen the first 2 seasons, season 3 is a great place to jump in because the stories are starting in a brand new spot. AKA, we done goofed. We're trying something new. Let's forget the first 2 even existed. Like,
right.
Imagine Tolkien writing Lord of the Rings and then being like, yeah, you don't really need to worry about the 2 towers. You can just jump right into Return of the King. I mean, come on.
Stupid. Yeah. That's so funny that again, like they just keep saying things and doing things to set themselves up for like embarrassment. Like I don't see how you don't think through that and think people are gonna have a field day with this.
Yeah. I can't get over and one of the showrunners also said that there's going to be a love triangle, that they're trying to spin a love triangle between Celeborn, Galadriel, and Sauron. And it's just like, can we stop? Like, can we please just stop with that specifically? Can we just put that in leave that in the first 2 seasons? You said start over. We're starting fresh. Like, leave that back there. Like you brought her husband back from, being MIA for 2 seasons. Now just let her be with her husband. You don't need to create this stupid love triangle. I made the point on X that like Galadriel denied Feanor strands of her hair on 3 separate occasions because she saw into his character and she did not like it.
Right.
And then she gave Gimli 3 strands of her hair when he asked for 1 because of character. And you're telling me she can't see right through Sauron? Like, come on.
When Tolkien explicitly said that she was not
correct
fooled by Anatar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Um, I don't know.
here's some just story developments that have been confirmed. Like these things are actually happening. So season 3 jumps forward 5 years after the sack of Eregion, which again was such a letdown. I mean, that's something I
That
do
was
remember from
horrible.
season 2. It was like this was supposed to be the biggest fight scene since Helm's Deep, and every shot was a close up or barely. It like there was it was brutal. It was
Yeah,
brutal.
it was bad.
Anyway, we're not talking about season 2. We're talking about season 3. Um, so Sauron controls a lot of Middle Earth, and his fortress at Barad-dûr is complete. Elrond has established Rivendell at this point. Khazad-dûm is pretty much sealed off. It's the idea that we're ramping up to the final like war of the elves and Sauron forging the One Ring, and so we saw that in the trailer. Um, so we see the Nazgul, the distributing of the Nine, and seems like he's maybe going to be asking for help, maybe from this dark wizard over in Rune, probably one of the blue wizards. Which there's a lot of liberty you can take with those.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
hate
hate it.
that. I think
I don't like it, but I
yeah,
don't hate it.
there's sure. I mean, there's been theories of the blue wizards dabbling in dark magic and kind of maybe even turning away from their original purpose, and so have at it. I don't know why you'd again focus on something that we know nothing about when there's so much we do know so much about. Uh, but anyway, we do have the name of one Nazgul, besides the Witch King, Kamul, I guess. Kamul, is that how you say that?
Yeah, it's
Um,
Kamul, and he's, if I'm remembering the lore correctly, I think he was an Easterling, Kamul the Easterling, and
mm,
he and the Witch King of Angmar are the only two named Nazgul out of the nine.
yeah.
So, I mean, if you're bringing back Nazgul, like it makes sense to bring back Kamul. I think he's also the
Hmm.
one that was like in charge of Dol Guldur after Sauron left, after he was
Mm,
kind of chased away. Or no, maybe it was before he returned to Dol Guldur. But he was in charge of
as
Dol
the
Guldur for a
necromancer.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he kind of held on to it in the interim after Sauron uh, uh during the watchful piece is what I'm trying to say. I think.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
cool.
I think, yeah, I think the whole story arc of the Ring Wraiths is very fun. I mean, they're so menacing in Peter Jackson's films. Like, it'd be cool if it aligned well enough where you can kind of jump from this to Peter Jackson. Like, that would be really neat to see kind of origin stories and where they came from. But again, nothing up to this point has felt like continuity with anything that Peter Jackson's made, which I understand you want to make it your own thing, but
But then
at
they
the same
don't at the
time, they
same
literally
time.
said, well, yeah, everyone's going to compare it, but also they literally said like you by the end of our show, you'll be able to finish our show and then jump right into the prologue
Yeah.
of Lord of the Rings.
Which I
And
think all they
so
meant by
if
that
they're
is the ending point will be where it starts. Nothing else is going to align.
well, sure, how they get there,
Exactly.
who knows, obviously. But this is kind of an interesting report here that was described from Empire that Sauron forces armored men to fight to the death for one of the 9 spots, crowning the victor. The winner gradually becomes more and more corrupt through the season. Very Joker in the Dark Knight, now we're gonna have tryouts. But I mean, it's something Sauron would do. I would put
Sure.
that in his character,
Sure.
with just what we see in the Legendarium. So yeah, that's kind of like what's been confirmed that we should see. So again, it sounds like it should be more entertaining. Now acting and dialogue, that's probably I don't know. I doubt that
It's
will
more the script
be
writing.
much
Like
better.
the acting, you can only do so much with the terrible script that was given to them, right?
Sure,
Like
sure.
uh, the scripting has been so bad. It's so unforgettable. There's nothing that actually sounds like Tolkien. It's bad. So like the acting is very limited by that. But I don't know. I could go either way on the Nazgul. Nazgul are hard to screw up. They're awesome. So it could
Yeah.
be, like you said, very interesting to kind of see their backstory, their origins. Um, I know that supposedly we're gonna. I've already talked about Gladriel and Celeborn and Sauron and the love triangle and all that, but supposedly Celeborn's been gone for like what is it, a couple centuries or something. Like he's been missing for a long time. Um,
think she called him dead in season
she thought so,
1.
which I think is how they're
Yeah.
justifying her, gallivanting around with the Dark Lord. But and
I
soon
still
to be
just don't understand why.
son-in-law. Can't forget that.
Right. Blech.
But yeah, supposedly Celeborn, when he sees her, says like the hope of seeing Galadriel again kept him alive. And it's just like, oh boy. Well, one of you felt that way. One of you definitely didn't. Awkward. So I don't know. One of the other interesting kind of plot points that I there was actually a huge debate amongst the Tolkien community on this, is the Balrog and Sauron. So supposedly the Balrog being in Moria, and being in fire, he's like he actually speaks, and Sauron wants to go and learn how to like be writhed in is it wreathed in flame,
Wreathed.
wreathed in flame. That makes more sense. Wreathed, like a wreath, in flame.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I get where they're kind of going with that, but it was kind of a big debate in the Tolkien community whether a Balrog could or could not speak. There's,
Of course they can speak.
Tolkien expresses, and I think it's in the Fellowship, he says like they can't, or that, let me rephrase, not that they can't, but that the Balrog didn't speak or make a noise or things like that. I forget exactly the verbiage.
Yeah, it didn't respond to Gandalf's conversation, like his promptings.
Yeah.
Word.
But
right.
Just like you said, of course they can speak. Like they're intelligent Maiar, they're spirits from Valinor. They're equivalent to Sauron. They're equivalent to Gandalf and Sauron and, Palando and Palando and I forget the other blue wizard. But like they're Maiar. Like they can speak 100%. There's no way they can't.
Alatar?
I don't remember. But
yeah.
I think this. Speak.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to speak. I mean, I imagine Gothmog, Lord of Balrogs, and Galadriel were chipping pretty good, throwing insults back and forth at each other. But yeah, I think this is a very interesting idea. Again, one of those things that you don't like. What's the point of, other than just pure cinematic fun and entertainment, which it better be.
But it could look cool. It could look very cool.
It could look very cool. But again, it just doesn't seem to me like, how does this move the plot forward at all? Or is it just going to be fun?
Yeah.
Which is fine, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Supposedly Durin the Fourth has an older brother now. We were talking like off air, like, wait, what? Like he had a brother? I don't remember him having a brother at all. Not to mention there's only supposed to be one Durin at a time, but now there's an older Durin to a younger Durin, and there's still a daddy Durin. The line of Durin is not sending their best, as Trump would say.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it doesn't make sense. Like if Durin in the show is the younger brother, why does he have the namesake of the older brother? Unless they're going for some like Jacob and Esau stuff, like you stole my birthright kind of thing, which that's an interesting way to go. But it looks like we'll get an Aryan. That'd be kind of cool.
I was wondering where he was this whole time, right?
Yeah, he should be here. I don't know any of these actors, so I mean Eddie Marsan, I guess is Thrain, which is
no idea who these people are.
Name. Andrew Richardson, which with Peter Jackson, majority of the actors were not known, so there could be good things that come from this. Adam Young is, I guess, Mornuk is going to be the orc's name that works with Galadriel. Is that Mornuk?
Yeah, so the description of him is an orc who defects to the elves and forms an uneasy alliance with Galadriel. The writers call him an orc with an arc. Is he the one that wanted to be a dad? Is he the orc father that we saw last season? Is that who he is?
Bless his heart.
Oh, sweet little guy.
That's funny. This is interesting, though, that Robert Arameo, who plays Elrond, will be also playing Elros. Obviously, if you know lore, Elros is the twin brother of Elrond. He was given the choice to become mortal, so he began the Númenórean race, which it has to be flashbacks, right? Because at this point, Elros would have been long gone.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a flashback, so I don't think it's like him acting a lot. I think it's just kind of. Yeah, I think it's a pretty quick scene.
Bring him in as a character. Wait, no. Uh, I mean, there's stuff with Disa. I don't care about that one
Yeah,
bit.
not even a little. I bet she
Yeah, I
sings
guess so.
though.
So, yep, she sings. So Farazan will be king. Our Farazan. Is this is actually so this I love Farazan as a character in Tolkien's Legendarium, not at all in the Rings of Power, the IT guy that he is. But
Sorry, Scott.
I yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry again. He's over, 2,200 days straight running, something like that,
Oh
something
yeah.
crazy.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's definitely not the fat IT guy. But I mean, this guy does not look like the menacing, most powerful man of Middle Earth at the time kind of guy. And so that whole story, I'm very wary of that because I really do love Farazan as a villain. Not like I don't
So they
him like
still
he,
technically
a
have
buddy,
what
but
this season plus two more. Like they're booked for 5 seasons, right?
yeah. So they could do the whole thing with Sauron coming to Numenor and all
I
that,
think that
and
I
but
know that Sauron's already technically, or Anatar Halbrand or whatever not Halbrand, whatever they named him.
yeah, it was Halbrand.
Was it Halbrand?
Yeah.
Okay. Halbarad is the Dunedain of the North, not Halbrand. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
How
yeah.
dare you?
How dare I confuse those two? They only copied his name. Yeah, I know he's already technically been to Numenor, but yeah, they've got it. I bet they kind of go into, Farazan landing in Middle Earth and Sauron like bowing down to him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
I will
Again,
say,
one of the coolest things we've seen in the books, but
yeah, it's pretty cool in the books, like you have to admit it. I will say this. I would love to see an accurately depicted scene of Farazan going to Valinor and
Mm,
the world changing. If they could somehow pull that
dude,
off, that would be cool.
yeah, that could make up for a lot of bad stuff. Yeah, that would be epic. That would be absolutely epic. Just the pride in his
Hmm.
face as he's going, just like, hey,
Well, and
I'm
if
gonna
you
show these
remember in
gods
the
what's up.
Silmarillion, he has like that moment of doubt where he almost turns around and then he's like,
Hmm.
"Nope, I've gone this far. I have to keep going." And then like
Yep.
he
Yep.
challenges the Valar, and I mean, Manwë
And
like steps down and Eru takes care of it. So,
yep.
that would actually be pretty sick to see. Let's see.
Yeah.
Gandalf still doesn't remember who he is because okay. The Dark
Stupid
Wizard's
story.
identity is revealed. It's not Saruman. Okay. The Harfoots are not in this, so those dirty little psychopaths are no longer in this. I think they realized that they provide absolutely nothing to the story. So
Mm-mm.
I'll celebrate that. Props to
You're wrong.
Rings of Power. You got rid of them.
Yeah. Admit when you're wrong. Admit when you did something bad.
I guess so. I don't know, Sam. I'm trying to keep moving us forward because we're still going to talk about the hunt for Gollum.
Yeah.
All right. So we're still
Right.
going to get into
Right.
that.
Something a bit more excited to talk about.
That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's so the Dark Wizard. We're probably thinking the rumor is Palando, one of the Blue Wizards, and so that could be cool. Um, we think that it's possible that Theo, who I completely forgot about up until just reading this in the talk, was an actual character in the first two seasons. But I guess the daughter of Bronwyn, or daughter, the son of Bronwyn, in the very first season kind of was played a hand in creating Mordor with that hilt of a sword and that
Oh, he's
terrible
the
way
one
of
that I
thinking
said would
and creating
become the
Mordor.
Witch King, didn't I? Or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So the theory though is that he will be Kamul, but he
Oh,
could be a Witch King too. Um, we'll see.
okay.
It would be nice to actually have some reason for him. I will say that because again, one of those characters is just like, what's the point? Why are we wasting so much time? Because the first two seasons, the first season especially, they just went back and forth between so many different characters and storylines and original characters that it was so hard to get care about any of them.
Anytime you
And
started to
so,
get invested, even just the slightest bit, they'd completely change who they were, who
yeah,
they were following in the
and you wouldn't
story.
see him for a couple episodes. So, yeah, season four, I guess they're working on it. So they're not canceling it, even though there was a lot of rumors that it would get canceled. It's been every single time there's been a season come out, there's been rumors of it being canceled. But
Yeah,
they're in for it. So that's
fair enough.
that's Rings of Power. We'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, if you're excited about it, great. Like we don't want to. poo-poo on your parade. Like we probably won't talk about it a whole lot unless there's something just really cool or really bad that
We'll
comes of
probably
it.
touch on it every so often and just make fun of it like we
Yeah,
always do.
sure. But it's not hard to find our stance on the show by any means. But as it comes out and when it's played, we'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, or maybe theories you have, or just how it could be redeemed, perhaps any ideas that you have for the showrunners that we could share on the podcast, because maybe they're listening to it, maybe they're trying to figure out, deep dive into all the places of Tolkien lore they can find for help. But all that to say, I think that's plenty of Rings of Power talk. Rings of Prime, as Seth likes to call it.
Rings of Prime. So let's kind of
any other thoughts, or
not even a little. I think I'm
great.
done talking about Rings of Power. Let's go ahead and get into the Hunt for Gollum. So a teaser trailer came out, and I will say, I know you said like this kind of gave you chills. Again, I know they're trying to bring the whole band back together. I don't see this story working, but I'm like cautiously optimistic. With Rings of Power, when we first heard about it, I was stoked. I was so excited that we were going to get a show. And as more and more came out, I started getting less and less interested. Then I watched the product and thought it was brutal. With Hunt for Gollum, because of Rings of Power, because it's kind of in the interim, it's hard to do a show or a movie that kind of happens in between the storyline that people already have the through for. Right. So I don't know how it's going to work, but I am cautiously optimistic just because they are getting the band back together. And quite frankly, more Andy Serkis as Gollum gives me more things to quote in front of my kids. Like, come on.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for the reverence that Andy Serkis has, because there's no doubt in my mind. Like, I mean, Payne and McKay, the showrunners for Rings of Power, like what they do, like Game of Thrones a little bit here and there. Like they didn't really have much, and they never convinced anybody of being like huge Tolkien nerds or anyone that has respect for his works.
I guarantee that Andy Serkis spent more time in the books reading them out loud for Audible than Payne and McKay have done this entire time.
Yeah, 100%. And so the fact that he is that bought in, you see he knows the stories well. He's read them all out loud for Audible, and they're epic. They're really awesome. And so he does have a reverence for the professor, and I think a lot of that he gleaned from Peter Jackson, and the fact that he'll be working with Peter Jackson again, I think that'll be beneficial for them to be able to bounce things off each other. There will still be plenty of original characters and side plots that don't make sense, and things that just like, okay, this is maybe probably some new agey progressive stuff that doesn't really need to be in here. But at the same time, like the heart of Tolkien, I think will be a lot easier to see through this story. And of course there's a lot more stuff to actually take from Rings of Power. They really took a shot in the dark with going into the second age and try to pull something together.
But that's kind of what I have the gripe for, though. Like, Rings of Power had an outline for the second age, even though it wasn't a one-to-one kind of like pulling the books from Lord of the Rings to the trilogy into movies. It had a pretty easy outline to follow, and they completely butchered it. Hunt for Gollum, one of my biggest concerns is it's like a paragraph. Like Gandalf briefly touches on it when he talks to Frodo, and then he briefly explains, and Aragorn briefly explains in the Council of Elrond. It's like 1 to 2 paragraphs max that they're supposedly going to pull two. I think it's supposed to be 2 movies from.
Is it actually?
I think that's what I heard. I could be wrong. But let's jump into the trailer here, because this one, like, kind of like you said, it actually, was a little bit better in making me get hyped. Just real quick before I hit play, dropping my pen. The number one comment on the YouTube trailer is, please be good, please be good, please be good, please be good. Like, people want a good Tolkien product. We really do.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go, onto the mocap stage.
So you've got Andy Serkis wearing his iconic, I don't know what you call it, like a wetsuit with
motion capture.
Motion capture. Yeah.
Well,
he sits down, he like opens up a book. He's like, where do we start?
The script, yeah.
It's a very good place to start. Who's up?
First page. Good place to start.
Thank you, everyone.
Now, I'm going to pause this and say something right before. Oh, shoot. I gave it away. So you see him in, like you said, his motion capture, crawling onto the box, and all of a sudden you just see him click into gear. He just snaps right back into Smeagol, right? he just starts getting into it. The voice comes out. Is that the part that gave you chills? Because I love that.
It was that, and then right after he says action,
yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Action.
Just the way that he says it just immediately transports you back. And then the Howard Shore track of I think that's like Isengard Urkai right after that was just like boom. It's like, yeah, let's go. Like,
well, and
I just
does that look like the Emyn Wheel to you? Like where they meet Gollum?
It does. Yeah.
Does that look like the Emyn Wheel? Like the So they're filming on set, right? Of where Lord of the Rings was filmed, I would imagine. In New Zealand.
Yep.
And I mean, that's just a teaser trailer, but I don't know.
But that was enough for me to be like, okay, like I'm ready to get hurt again.
I'm ready to be hurt again. I definitely get where you're coming from on that. Like, I want it to be so good. I might go see it in theaters. I still haven't seen War of the Rohirrim. Like,
yeah, that you got to try it out. It's not that bad. It's a decent movie. The animation's just hard to get. I don't care for that, but the story is fun and
fair enough.
It's cool what they did with certain things, but yeah, I certainly will see this in theater.
So one thing that kind of concerns me is Aragorn is not being played by Viggo Mortensen, which is a real bummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I found a quote from Viggo Mortensen kind of as why, like, I think it was before he technically denied it when the rumors were out if he was going to be a part of it. And he said, I would only do it if I was right for it in terms of, the age I am now and so forth. I would only do it if I was right for the character. It would be silly to do it otherwise. So they want a young Aragorn. And the rumor is that they wanted to use like de-aging technology like they did for Orlando Bloom in The Hobbit that just looked weird. And Viggo being like, he's just a very unique person. If you watch interviews with him or like hear stories, he is an N=1. He is one of a kind.
Yeah.
And I can see that just he would have no interest in this. And he's just, it's not something that he felt was going to be correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which I respect the crap out of him for it. Like, I love that he took his character so seriously. And when he was probably offered an insane amount of money to come back and do this, he's like, nah, it doesn't make sense. Like find somebody else that makes sense. Like maybe he really liked the story, but it just doesn't, he wants to be authentic. He wants to be genuine. And he has, again, that reverence and that respect for Tolkien's works that I love. And I hope the rest of the cast, and that's what's exciting. I know the cast, at least the ones that are coming back, they do have that as well. Yeah, they do have that as well. And so that's hopeful. The people who did Rings of Power, again, to your point about the showrunners, I doubt they spent any amount of time reading through any of this stuff. And how could you? Like, if you have no idea what this is, you audition for it, and then you jump right into like, okay, I'm gonna read all my stuff in the Second Age, and you're like, oh, wait, what the heck am I doing here?
Like, who am I even supposed to be? Yeah.
So, I like Ian McKellen coming back as Gandalf, probably being his last thing. That's just gonna be a nostalgic thing for me. It's one of those things that maybe the movie doesn't necessarily hold up the test of time like Lord of the Rings will, but it certainly will hit that nostalgia chord for a lot of fans, which, it could just be a cash grab to do that. But I'll fall for it. I'll be honest. Don't really care for Elijah Wood as Frodo, but yeah, Lee Pace's Thranduil I genuinely loved in The Hobbit, and so having him come back, I'm stoked for that. Like, I think he will do such a great job as Thranduil, and I'm excited to see that part come to life, because Thranduil obviously is a pretty hard-hearted type of fellow, yet he took mercy, and him and the rest of the elves took mercy on Gollum and Smeagol. And so seeing how that will all kind of work itself out, how Smeagol is able to kind of convince them to let him come down and, not be tied up in the trees and actually get to go around and hunt a little bit. And then
Legolas
so I'm sure
literally says like it wasn't from lack of watchfulness, but perhaps lack of kindness or something like that, which is exactly what you're describing. Like Legolas says that. So it could be cool to see that played out.
For sure. Kate Winslet being Marigold.
To be honest, hold on. I don't even know who Kate Winslet is. The name is familiar.
Isn't she? Did she play the Titanic? Is that her?
Yeah. Isn't she the one?
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess she's old now, right? So
Yeah,
like it probably fits being grandmom. Which
sure. I
Tolkien
mean, that's my. Go ahead.
doesn't Gandalf describe her as being like a great matriarch, but there's no way she had
Mm-hmm.
many of these rings when talking, to Gollum and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So that could be an interesting.
yeah. We'll tie in there. Have probably an original character, Lou Woodhall. I don't know who that is. Halvard. Um, but yeah, maybe he was a companion of Aragorn's or something. And
He's a
then Anya
ranger.
Taylor-Joy is also a very big name. I couldn't tell you anything she's played in. I can picture her face, but I don't really know exactly which movies she's done. But
Queen's Gambit. I think I watched some of that show.
mm,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
which I genuinely don't really care for her as an actress. But I mean that's not neither here nor there. Sounds like it'll be an original character, so we'll see where it goes. But yeah, those are kind of like the main cast that we know for sure. Obviously, Andy Serkis will be playing the iconic role of Gollum and Smeagol, and
That's
I
the one I'm
hear
most
that.
excited for, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. So did you ever see the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix?
No, I never bothered.
Okay, well, I wonder if that's kind of the route they're taking with this, because I heard them talking about like this is going to be like a psychological dump of the relationship between Smeagol and Gollum and the mental health and stuff like that. Joaquin Phoenix did a good job of that in the Joker, kind of portraying him as like a multi-personality kind of guy and just the internal mental battle and struggle. And so we see a little bit of that between the dialogue with Smeagol and Gollum in the Two Towers. Nobody likes you. You don't have any friends. And so we'll probably see a lot more of that.
Yeah.
And so that'll be. I think I'm interested about that. I don't want that to be the main focus. I really don't want that to like overtake the rest of the story because I think that's kind of overplayed at this point.
There are
just a lot of media, but
there are some cool things that they could do with this storyline too. I mean, when you think about even just the one sentence when the Fellowship is coming down Karathras and they're debating whether or not to go back to Rivendell, take the Gap of Rohan, or go through Moria, and Aragorn is like, "I too have crossed into the Dimrill Dale," or something like that, but it's a memory I don't want to relive. Like, was that when he was hunting Gollum?
You could do that.
Like, you could do that.
Right.
You can make that part of this. Like, the who is it? Is it Aragorn again that says this during the Council of Elrond? Like, there's or maybe it's Gandalf. I don't remember. It says like there's a fat man in Bree that lives so close to people that would like scare him to death if it wasn't for the Rangers, right? Like, so you could show the Rangers defending the borders of Bree and the Shire and things like that. Like, so there are some interesting angles that you could take with this and not just make it solely about hunting Gollum and the trekking of Gollum back to Mirkwood.
Yep. Yeah. There's certainly a lot of avenues you can take and I'm not worried that Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis are missing those things that you just mentioned or any other opportunities for more action, especially, I mean, if they're going to make it two movies, then certainly we'll be adding in plenty of things. And that was one of the things with The Hobbit that I didn't mind was kind of all the extra side quest stuff, if you will, that they added in from a lot of it from the Silmarillion, or the appendices or anything like that. Like it wasn't in The Hobbit, and it'd be nice to have both, like have just The Hobbit and then maybe have that with it. And so that's kind of what's neat about this is we have just Lord of the Rings, and then we are getting, obviously there's the Stephen Colbert movie that'll be coming out later on too with more in-depth stuff, and so that I'm a little more worried about.
Yeah.
But
same.
thankfully we don't have to worry about that for a while. but we are like we have the story, the beloved story, and now we're getting these snippets that if it works, great. If it doesn't, all right, it's not a part of it. That's the one thing with the Hobbits. Like it'd be great to just have the Hobbit story and then have those extra snippets as an option to view separately.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the story technically is supposed to take place, and if you've only watched Lord of the Rings, the movies, they kind of just skim over this, and I understand why they did, but
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
actually 17 years between Bilbo's 111st birthday and when Gandalf comes back to the Shire and tells Frodo all about what he discovered. Um, and so there's a 17-year gap, and supposedly this movie is filling in that 17-year gap. So I don't know. It could be interesting, but again, if it's all just about Gollum and the hunt for him and things like that, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you think of how long 17 years is. Like, I don't know why Tolkien chose that. It is a very long time, and certainly in the movies, it seems like maybe a couple weeks. But I see why, for pacing sake, you just have to act like,
I think
you know,
Tolkien
it was the next thing. But
wasn't Frodo the same age as Bilbo when Frodo left the Shire? I want to say that
Hmm,
that's probably why Tolkien, because wasn't he
okay,
33? So didn't Bilbo
he
turn
was,
11 and Frodo came of age at 33 at the same time,
yeah,
and then 17 years
yeah,
later would be 50, which I believe is the same age that Bilbo left on The Hobbit. I could be wrong, but I'm
was
pretty
it?
sure.
Yeah, hmm. I was thinking 60 for some reason, but you could be right. Yeah, but either way, I think again, there's a lot to do with this, and so obviously that's when Gandalf's realizing that Bilbo's ring might be the One Ring. That's when Strider, like, that'll be fun to see Gandalf and Strider's relationship, because there really isn't a whole lot of that in the Lord of the Rings movies. I mean, there's some really cool interactions, but because there's so many characters, there's not a lot of like one-on-one dialogue between some of these major characters that would have known each other really, really well. Like Strider and Gandalf would have, they obviously knew each other. They worked together. They fought
Sure.
alongside each other. They did so much life together. And so that'll be cool to see that. And hopefully it doesn't look weird with the new Aragorn and the same Gandalf. That might be hard to just get past. But at the same time,
I think once you
I
get past
prefer
it,
that
it'll be
over,
okay.
as long as the acting's good. But I think we'll be able to get past it. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm excited for the excitement it seems to be brewing, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if nothing else, and we said this with Rings of Power, even though I don't know if it did exactly what we were hoping, but if nothing else, it will take people back to the books, or at least spark up more conversation about Tolkien, and that's where, yeah, this certainly happened when the show came out. People were like, "Oh, so like, what do you think of this?" Asking me questions, and then I got to enlighten them on how
Sure.
different it actually was, and some people chose to actually dive into it, and most people didn't. But it'll be fun to see those few and far between maybe fans that start brand new, because of these things. And man, what I would give to be able to go back and read the books for the first time again, or see the movies for the first time again, or jump into the Silmarillion for the first time again. Like, that would be such a joy, and it's fun seeing that with other people,
Yeah.
um, who've not seen that. And so, one of my friends, Joel, who I've mentioned on the podcast before, he's walking through chronologically the Marvel movies with his son, um, which is neat. And they got to Infinity War, and I was like, man, I really want to watch it with you, just because it's like I love seeing people's first reactions to
Mm-hmm.
things, especially a movie like that where so much crazy stuff happens. And I hope that maybe there's some of that with this too. Yeah, we get to go to the movies with, maybe with Joel or somebody else who maybe knows the story a little bit but has no idea what to expect. That's always kind of fun. But
Yeah, I definitely can see that. I hope it does all those things. I really do. Again, it's hard for me to see how this story could do that just from a, like I said, it's really hard to make a middle when you already have the beginning and end. You know what I mean? We already
yeah,
know that everybody's okay. We know that they caught Gollum. We know all these different things. So they're basically just showing us stuff we already know. And I feel like from a storytelling, excuse me, the storytelling standpoint, that is a that's a big task to try to pull off.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I mean, they nailed, the trilogy, even though the more I watch it and the more I know about the books, the more I don't like the trilogy, but it was still my first exposure.
Yeah,
It was still done in the spirit of Tolkien. It was still what sucked me in the first place. So it's, regardless of how many lore breaks there are and gripes I have with it, it is still just the GOAT of all movies.
Mm-hmm. And something that's exciting about this too is kind of this little section here, the filmmaking approach that Circus wants, with miniatures and prosthetics and, no AI. He said he's not going to do any AI slop. He's, limited, like CGI, stuff like that. And that's something we've been watching the behind the scenes again of the Fellowship, and just the
Fascinating.
the hours, the time. These guys making the chainmail, they spent 3 years making chainmail. 8 hours, they said 10 hours a day for 3 years. They put together these plastic rings. They had this bubble, just him and this other guy putting together these plastic rings for their chainmail to make it look so authentic. Hand done. They said I think it was 10 kilometers, maybe even more.
Oh my gosh.
If they would have put it out, like if every single piece was laid out together, 10 kilometers worth of chainmail that these guys handmade for the movies. That
Great
doesn't
care.
happen anymore.
Great care.
Yeah,
They cared about what they were making.
100%. And Peter Jackson did too. And obviously that we lost that in The Hobbit with the CGI and stuff. And so I'm hoping that he can maybe learn from that and see how people didn't like that, and maybe help steer Circus in the right direction with this.
In defense of PJ with The Hobbit, he wasn't even slated to direct those movies
that
until
was
last
supposed to be
minute.
Del Toro.
So I don't think it went the way he was wanting necessarily.
Certainly. Yeah. So all that to say, like, I think at least the approach seems a lot more authentic, and he even mentioned, like, he had that kind of buzz quote that people didn't care for, that he's not going to be typecasting. He's not just going to be, putting certain people. He's not just going to be like token people of color just because he feels like he needs to. He's trying to be, again, this is a Tolkien would have wanted it to be a European mythology, and so a lot of white people, and he's fine with that. He said, "I'm trying to stay true to, again, what Tolkien would have wanted." And so, not that either of them have any issues with people of color whatsoever. Like, right. Again, I don't understand how people ever get to that assumption.
It's because people just jump to conclusions because it's favorable and they can call you a bigot and they enjoy doing that. It's the same thing we've talked about with Rings of Power over and over. Like, I just want lore accurate coverage for the thing that I love. If there was people of color or, women doing incredible feats of things, put that in there because that's lore accurate. And Peter Jackson did that pretty well. Whereas Rings of Power has just butchered and changed characters and made up characters just to fit certain quotas and like all these different things that just break the story. I don't care who's in it. I want it to just be accurate to the actual story.
Yep. Agreed. And that's what Circus said. Like, he said that, and he got some backlash for it. Obviously, of course he did.
Which he knew going into it. He's a Hollywood person through and through. Like, he knows.
Yeah, but I respect him for standing on that and doing it respectfully too. He's not being a jerk about it. He's saying no, like I'm trying to make a really, really good adaptation here and pay my respects to the greatest author of our time. Undisputed.
Yes, indeed. I just noticed here at the bottom of our doc that it's supposedly not a 2-part series. It's one film, and then Warner has a separate film in Middle Earth in development, which must be the Stephen Colbert.
That's the Colbert thing.
Which is nobody needs that idea either. Like,
right.
We can talk about that one another time, but like,
yep. It will be interesting. This says too that the release date is the same day as Avengers: Secret Wars, which, if you're paying attention at all, and I haven't seen it, I'd love to. But the new Spider-Man that just came out has broken every single record for opening weekend box office numbers. And obviously it leads into what will be this December, I think, Avengers: Doomsday, which they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. to play Doctor Doom. I don't know I've not read all the comics and stuff, but that will probably be the next biggest record-breaking box office thing. And so then if Avengers: Secret Wars is supposed to come off of Doomsday, like, because that's supposed to be a year after that, like it's kind of like the Infinity War and Endgame movement there. It could be really interesting to see what happens with the fandoms of, people that like a lot of the same stuff. Like, will they just go see both? Will it tank one of the other? It'd be interesting, but
I would
not really important. But
I would just love to see Warner come up and just drop their stuff on the table and be like, "Nope, we're not moving. We're here to stay," and show who the big dog is in town. Like Lord of the Rings. Like, don't get me wrong. I know you're a huge Avengers fan, but Lord of the Rings is still the pinnacle.
oh yeah, and I was a big Avengers fan. I have not been able to keep up with everything they're doing
They're
nowadays.
just bad.
Um,
Amanda and I went and saw like that Thor one that came out a couple years back, and we were
no,
like,
that was yeah, that was
"Why are
bad.
we watching this? This is a waste of time and money. It's terrible."
Yep, that was really
So
bad.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe the Spider-Man one's worth seeing then.
yeah. I mean, I've heard really good things from people I trust about it. So at
That's
some
good to
point,
know. Well,
and
yeah.
and honestly, one thing that I'd like to do at some point, with you, the Odyssey that just came out too. I've heard really, really good things about that. Obviously, they chose to make some interesting choices with casting and all that kind of stuff too. But as far as like an epic fantasy, and obviously it's Christopher Nolan, who's an incredible filmmaker and chooses a lot of like practical effects and stuff too. So, but I've heard a lot of comparisons between like that and Lord of the Rings, like the movies,
Hmm.
and it'd be interesting like at some point if we get to watch the movies, if we could talk a little bit about it and compare the two, just as from a stylistic standpoint, from a entertainment standpoint, all the things. But people are comparing it, and I'm like, I don't know, I've not seen it, so I can pretty much guarantee it's not on the same level, but who knows?
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really have much interest in that, but if we were going to chat about it, I'd watch it. And maybe Amanda would have interest in it. She likes, the old classics and everything. So,
Yeah,
although I've heard it's nothing like the actual story either, which
sure.
thankfully I don't have a love and a passion for the Odyssey. So if they break all
But
the
but
lore, I won't really know, right?
exactly. Yep, yep. Which might be a blessing.
But it
But
still
Seth,
just bothers
apparently it's
me
all
that.
about.
Go ahead.
Apparently it's all about a dad trying to get back to his son. I mean, that could get you right here. That could get you in the feels.
It
You
could,
got a
and
son now. I
and
mean, it
it's
apparently it's done
possible.
really well.
It's
But
possible.
yeah, but it's also weird knowing like Jason Bourne is the father to Spider-Man, like because it's Matt Damon and Tom Holland are the two
Oh, I
actors.
was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, just it's late. We're past time and we're not making any sense at this point. So
That's all right.
yeah, we wanted to just kind of talk about the happenings of Middle Earth. We'll get into some more like actual lore stuff here in the future. We also just a little maybe teaser for the future. I connected with a guy, Andy Gunn, who played multiple different kind of background actor characters in the films. He was on the set for 3 years, and
That's so
he said
cool.
he'd love to talk about his experience. Yeah, yeah, it was on the Facebook trading card game that we're on because he has multiple cards that he signs and sells to people. Because somebody sent him a card at one point saying, "Hey, will you sign this?" And he's like, "Oh, cool, I'm on a card. That's awesome." and so now he's like, "Hey, I'll if anyone has these cards and wants me to sign them, I'm happy to do that." And so, I mean, he's not like one of the main characters by any stretch of the imagination, but
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
still, he
I'd
was
love to
there.
just
He lived
hear.
it. He
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
part of that. Yeah, that
He literally he has one of the cards is him right behind Aragorn shooting a bow and arrow, which is just sweet, on
yeah,
Helm's Deep. And so I'd love, love, love to hear just his experience, which
yeah.
he said he'd be willing to do it. So hopefully sometime soon. He is on New Zealand time, so it is 16-hour difference and a whole
Jeez.
day's worth. So
Yeah.
a Thursday for him is a Wednesday for us, but we'll
We
figure
were
it out.
hoping to do that pretty soon, but this person decided to schedule my boards for before we leave for a wedding in Colorado in 10 days. So, um, yeah. Hopefully when I get back from vacation, if we're going to call it vacation,
Right.
we can get that on the books. And then after
Lock in.
that, I
Yeah.
think it'd be really fun to just kind of pick some passages and discuss like what they mean, kind of dive deep into them, just kind of like the overarching story. I think that'd be a fun idea to do for an episode. One that I actually want to dive into, just the psychology behind it we already talked about, but our far is on landing on
Yeah.
the shores of Valinor. So I don't know. There's a
That'd be
few that
sweet.
I've got floating around in my head that would be fascinating to kind of dive into a little bit. But yeah, we've
Yeah,
got some.
love it.
Hopefully, life eases up a little bit now, and we can keep these a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, I'd love to. I've certainly missed it, and
Yes.
again, even if nobody's listening, it's just so much fun getting to catch up with you and talk Tolkien, and just yeah, I love escaping into this world, uh, and then coming back out feeling refreshed and ready to like take what I've learned from Tolkien and apply it to my life. Obviously, with this specific episode, that's not necessarily the case. Just talking about other people's interpretations of Tolkien stuff, but
Yeah.
all the same, it still makes me, like I was just skimming through the books and stuff. I was looking at like Theoden quotes because obviously that's what we decided
Okay.
to make,
Yeah.
name our
He has
child, and
so
just
many.
the
That is
epic
such a good
character.
character.
Yeah. I just get so stoked and like excited. I was reading his speech and his battle cry and stuff at Pelennor Fields, and I'm just like, dude, this is freaking sweet.
Yeah, it is.
So I love that I'll never be satisfied with my knowledge of, in the same way that like there's always so much to glean from the Bible and from like his history in general. Like there's just so much to gain from Tolkien, and I'll
What a
never be
gift.
satisfied, I don't think. Yeah, to be able to completely like continually learn and grow and figure out more and more and more about this guy's insane world that will never ever be matched.
Agreed. Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's always, like you said, very refreshing. It's nice to be able to do this with you, man. I really love spending time with you and diving into this. So thank you for your patience over the last 3 years trying to fit these in.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good. Well, I think we ought to call for aid. This is the part of the podcast where Gondor calls for aid. We're breaking the halls of Metasheld and shouting, "Gondor calls for aid. Will you, Rohan, answer?" If you enjoyed the podcast, please light a beacon, share it with some fellow friends and fans, especially if you're one of the 600 people or however many people that we had on those random downloads. We'd love to hear from you. Like we interact with our listeners often. We get emails, we get texts, Facebook messages, Instagram, all the things. David, shout out to you, man. I know you're gonna be listening to this. Andrew, we haven't heard from you in a long time. I know you're rocking and rolling with us for the Children Puritan podcast. So if you're still listening, we'd love to hear how you're doing. Just so many different people that we've gotten to meet and hang out with along the way. Dr. Damien,
Yes,
shout out to you,
definitely.
sir. He actually, I was texting with him. He was like leading this speech thing down in Florida. So he's doing incredible things,
Wasn't he writing
as
his
most
own medical
orthopedic surgeons
textbook?
do. Yeah, something crazy.
mean, yeah.
But yeah, so to all you guys that took an hour and a half or so to listen to us gab, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it, and we'd love to hear from you. We don't want to do this isolated. We'd love to do this as part of a fellowship. So you can email us at wecpodcast@gmail.com, or just find us on socials, or if you got a number, text us, let us know. But like Seth said, we hope to dive into some more lore here in a little bit once life kind of settles down a bit. But until then, we thank you so much for joining us for some well-earned comforts, and we bid you a very fond farewell.